Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about this film is that we do know that J.J. Abrams is going to be doing a lot of special things, not just for the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren, but also for Luke Skywalker, which will in fact be portrayed by Mark Hamill once more in the sequel trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very exciting and intriguing for this movie, involving Mark Hamill and Adam Driver as both Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren / Ben Solo. Now, specifically, it's described that one of the scenes that were filmed during the month of January of this year involved both Mark Hamill and Adam Driver clashing both of their lightsabers together in front of a large Jedi structure. It said that Adam was wearing a white Jedi outfit, similar to what fans saw in The Last Jedi. However, it appeared that Kylo Ren also had a cape of some kind. Mark was described to be using a green lightsaber blade against Kylo's blue one in a training session, where it's described to be a moment in which Luke first realizes Kylo's anger and frustration during his Jedi training. It's described that this flashback goes along with dialogue of Luke's Force Ghost when speaking to Rey about Ben Solo and his early Jedi life. One of the scenes also involved Adam Driver as Ben Solo getting into an argument with Luke in between a training session, and is said to be a very dramatic moment for the audience. Mark Hamill in this sequence was wearing black Jedi robes, nearly the same exact outfit he wore on Crate in The Last Jedi, with the same hairstyle and beard. Another sequence that was shot included Mark Hamill delivering dialogue to Adam as Ben Solo about the ways of the Force before Ben Solo runs off into the distance. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, first things first, we do know that Ben Solo is a very unknown character, and when I say this, I mean talking about Kylo Ren's early life, right? We don't know too much about the character of Ben Solo. Do we know more about Kylo Ren than Ben? Absolutely. But thankfully, we do have a novel coming out in the near future that's going to go over Kylo Ren's early life, both as Kylo Ren and as Ben Solo, which is great. So moving past this, alright, what's really intriguing to me the most about this whole entire sequence that was shot during the month of course, January, this also gives us a little clue, a little hint as to exactly what the relationship was like between both uncle and nephew, both Luke and Ben Solo, during the times when they were training away on this unknown world and the location of Luke's training temple with his next generation of Jedi. So we only got glimpses of this, right? We only got a short glimpse of the relationship between both Luke and Ben Solo in the little hut that is actually a part of the Jedi training temple, which is where each and every student goes to their own, place to actually sleep and train and do stuff around those lines. So in this particular sequence, this basically gives us a new type of Jedi training that we have never seen before on the big screen, which I honestly think is great because to this very day in Star Wars, as far as the films go, we have never seen Jedi training like this before, where we have both lightsabers clashing against each other. You know what it reminds me of? It brings me all the way back to Batman Begins, where Ra's al Ghul was training with, of course, Bruce Wayne on that icy, area in the world on Earth. I think that it brings me way back to that kind of training, and that's exactly, I think, what's needed in the Star Wars sequel trilogy when it comes to training sessions. Now, of course, comics and other books and novels have gone over this type of training, but we have never seen this on film before, which I think that this is going to be a very exciting sequence, because we only heard Luke Skywalker speak, right? He only actually spoke about Ben Solo's training in The Last Jedi, where he says, he sensed, pretty much his dark side rising during his training. The whole entire presence of Snoke and everything. So we never got to see that angle to the story, that side of the story of Ben Solo, and exactly what that was like. And I think that's going to be a very interesting view in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams. Like I say, I think a lot of people start to forget that at the end of the day, J.J. Abrams never got to experiment with Luke Skywalker at the end of the day. Other than that one little shot of him in the flashback and on the edge of a cliff, that was it. That's all that J.J. Abrams handled with Luke in The Force Awakens. So you can only imagine what J.J. wants to do in The Rise of Skywalker in order to have his own Luke Skywalker time in Episode 9, since Rian Johnson got a crack at it. So the other piece that I do want to go over is that it's described that there was an argument between both Mark Hamill and Adam Driver, playing the characters of Ben and Luke, and is actually described to be a very dramatic moment for the audience. Now, this is described to be the very first time in which Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo begin to shift apart, begin to, have a moment in which they begin to separate and have that little, bit of a shaky relationship when it comes to uncle and nephew in a family here. So I think that's where a lot of things are missing in the sequel trilogy, is that the relationship between both Kylo Ren and his father Han Solo seems to be missing, as well as the relationship between both uncle and nephew, also seems to be missing. That is, in fact, going to be explored further in The Rise of Skywalker, which is going to bring things full circle, thankfully. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.